Moonborn. The town of Welsmere was a speck on the map, a cluster of stone cottages wrapped in ivy and silence where the fog rolled in like memory and the moon hung low as if listening. Tourists didn't come here, not anymore, not since the red autumn. They say the forest of Elmridge whispered on full moon nights that something hunted under the pale eye of the heavens. Most dismissed it as legend, but those who had lived there long enough, like old Clara Pines, who never left her shutters open past sunset, knew better. It was October when Myra came to Welsmere. She wore a hooded coat and carried a satchel filled with charms, bone talismans, dried herbs, and one ancient iron dagger wrapped in leather. She said she was a folklorist from the city, researching the cultural myths of rural England. No one asked questions. Not here. She rented the old blackthorn cottage on the edge of Elmridge Forest, a place that had stood empty for years. The locals called it cursed. They said the last man who lived there disappeared one November night, and when the constables searched the woods, all they found was a patch of red snow and claw marks on bark 10 feet high. But Myra wasn't afraid. She was hunting something very old. The full moon would rise in 3 days. The first night, Myra roamed the forest's edge, whispering in a language older than English, scratching symbols into the trunks of ash trees. She'd laid traps, small things made of silver wire and hawthorn, and buried vials of blood in the soft soil. Her eyes never left the canopy. She felt it even then, a presence, watching, waiting, at the local tavern. The hollow heart, she questioned the townsfolk. A few still remembered the red autumn, when the moon turned crimson and 4 villages were found torn open, bones cracked, organs missing. "I saw it," murmured Gareth, the barkeep, one eye clouded white from an old injury. 9 feet tall, fur like pitch, eyes like fire. Walked like a man, hunted like a beast. Took my brother, took 'em all. "They never caught it?" Myra asked softly. He laughed, a hollow, bitter sound. "You don't catch the devil." Myra only nodded. The second night, she ventured deeper. Elmridge was a cathedral of trees, roots like grasping hands, branches entwined like lovers. The air was damp, heavy with moss and decay. Myra felt it thrum in her bones, the old magic, raw and angry. She stopped by a ruined altar, half swallowed by ivy and time. Here, centuries ago, the Moonborn were made, cursed, blessed, twisted, werewolves. Not mindless beasts, but the remnants of an ancient pact, made between man and moon when the world was younger and wilder. They were guardians once. Then the bloodlust came. Myra knelt, pressing a silver coin into the altar stone. "Show yourself," she whispered. "I know you're kind." Something moved in the darkness, not wind, not beast, a figure, tall, humanoid, but wrong. Eyes glowed gold in the gloom. Then it vanished. That night she dreamed. She was running through the woods, her feet bare, her hands bloodied. The moon above her was full, enormous, pulsing like a heartbeat. And behind her, chasing, howling, not a beast, a pack. She woke with sweat on her brow and a distant echo of growling still in her ears. The moon would rise tomorrow. Welsmere locked its doors on the third night. Clara Pines placed wolves' bane on every windowsill. Gareth loaded a rusted rifle he hadn't touched in 20 years. Even the dogs stopped barking. They knew. Myra stood barefoot in the center of a glade deep in Elmridge, surrounded by a circle of salt and bone. Her dagger was in her hand. She could feel the moon rising behind her, its light creeping like fingers across the clearing. The air split with a howl. Not one, many. They came from the trees, tall, muscular, fur bristling like spears. Their eyes gleamed with animal hunger and ancient grief. One stepped forward. His face was half man, half wolf, but his voice, low, graveled, was human. "Why have you come, Moonchild?" Myra didn't flinch. "To finish what was started." The werewolf growled. "You carry the blood." She nodded. "My mother ran from you. I ran to you." They circled her. The largest one sniffed the air and sneered. "You smell of iron and death." "I carry the knife of Saint Ethiel," she said, lifting the blade. "It was forged to end the curse, but only when wielded by one of the bloodline." A murmur rippled through the pack. She continued, "You were guardians. You lost your way. I'm here to offer a choice." The leader snarled, "We choose the moon." "No," Mara said. "You choose extinction or redemption." Then the clouds parted, and the full moon hit the glade like fire. The change came violently. Bones cracked, limbs stretched, teeth grew. The air filled with snarls and agony. But Myra stood still, chanting words older than fire. Her blood burned in her veins. Her eyes shone silver. The dagger hummed in her hand. The alpha lunged. Time slowed. With a cry, Myra plunged the blade into the earth. A shock wave rippled through the glade, blinding light and howling wind. The wolves screamed, not in pain but in release. Then silence. Morning came. Where once stood beasts, now lay men and women, naked, breathless, human once more. The curse was broken, for some. Myra walked among them, her body weak, her spirit flickering. The dagger was gone. The moon above had dimmed. The alpha, now a man with eyes like old gold, reached for her hand. "Who are you?" he whispered. She smiled, tears streaking her dirt-covered face. "I'm what comes after the curse." Mara left Welsmere before the next moonrise. The town changed. Slowly, the forest no longer growled at night. Elmridge was quiet, but sometimes, on the full moon, villagers swore they saw silver eyes watching from the trees, not with hunger, but with hope. And in the hollow heart, they tell a new story now, of the woman who came with nothing but a dagger and a name and gave the cursed a second chance. Some still called her Moonborn, but Clara Pine says she was something older, a promise kept.